Hey, Strong Mom Society. So this workout is a nice, easy, restorative release flow. You don't even have to stand up for this. So depending on the type of day that you've had or you're about to have, wherever you're doing this in the day, you know that you can go into this workout with low amount of energy and just focus on completely relaxing your pelvic floor, focusing on that diaphragmatic breath and letting go. That's the theme of this morning. So I want you to start with that side ribcage breathing. So I want you to bring your hands to the sides of your ribcage in any comfortable seat. You could be seated in a chair, you can be on the ground, legs tucked underneath you, anything goes here. I want you to apply a little bit of compression into the sides of the ribs. And the reason that we're doing that is because as you inhale, I want you to feel your diaphragm push your hands out to the sides of the room. So the ribs go out on that inhale, and on the exhale, you're just gonna feel them gently come towards the center of your body. And we're just gonna focus here for a few moments on that lateral rib cage breathing. So you can even kind of force this a little bit where you feel like you're opening the bottom of your ribs like an umbrella. And I want you to take this inhale and this exhale in your nose, out your nose. And as you do this, I want you to visualize the diaphragm as a muscle. It sits at the very bottom of our ribs, underneath the lungs, underneath the heart, on top of all of those internal organs in the abdominal cavity. And as we breathe in, this diaphragm's a muscle. It's kind of like a dome, and it contracts and it pushes down into the abdominal cavity. You can imagine that it's starting to massage all of your organs as well. So this breath alone increases your energy, your lymph flow. It helps with digestion. It's the most important muscle in your body. And so many of us don't breathe in this way. We breathe in that upper chest breath that creates tension and stress in the upper body, neck, shoulders. So we're just getting our breath a little lower, a little more focused. And then I want you to continue to imagine that you've got that compression into the sides of the rib cage and bring your hands down to your belly. And as you continue to take that lateral rib cage breath, can you also feel a slight expansion in your belly, a release in your pelvic floor? And then as you exhale, we're not gonna do any of those abdominal activations today. We're just gonna let go even more as we exhale. So inhale, release. And exhale, release. Take that one more time. Nice big breath in, filling the ribs and belly, circling that air all the way down to the bottom of the abdominal cavity, releasing the pelvis. And then as you exhale, you let go. Air just escapes the body. Now, if you are still comfortable in this position, you can continue to sit here. I'm gonna switch it up to sit in a cross-legged position. Hands just down, facing down, palms down, nice grounding energy. Go ahead and close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that you have a pencil on the end of your nose. And I want you to take that pencil and draw a straight line, 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Now, as you do this, you're gonna continue with that diaphragmatic breath, that pelvic floor release. And it's just like you're taking a little nod. Yes, here, up and down. What this really tiny movement in the cervical spine does is release our back extensors. So if you had a lot of tension or stress that you're holding in that upper body, this is gonna help release it and let it go. And then you're gonna take that pencil and you're gonna draw a horizontal line right to left. And again, this is very small. Just a little head shake, no. Just drawing over and over again on that straight line that you're creating with that pencil. Then you're gonna take that pencil and you're gonna draw a circle around a quarter. So just imagining a small coin in front of you. You're circling around clockwise. And then I want you to reverse that, take that circle counterclockwise. And then I want you to imagine that you've got about a softball size circle in front of you, and take that circle a little bigger. So again, we're just trying to get into that release in those tight neck, shoulder, upper back muscles. Reverse that circle. One more time in this direction. I want you to tuck your chin to your chest, apply a little bit of downward pressure, release your shoulders down away from your ears, and take a nice big diaphragmatic breath. Inhale, ribs and belly. Exhale, continuing to release and let go. Take that neck stretch over to one side. A little bit of pressure on the top of your head. Nice big diaphragmatic breath in. And out, change your focus so you're looking down into your armpit. Deep breath in, ribs and belly. Using that diaphragm, that muscle contracts, it moves down, pulling air into the deepest part of your lungs, and take it up and over to the other side. Ear to shoulder. Big diaphragmatic breath in. Let it go. And then change your focus so you're looking down in your armpit. Big belly breath in through the nose and out through the nose as well if you can. And then you're just gonna draw a half circle from ear to shoulder, chin to chest, ear to shoulder. And you're just gonna take that half circle. You can visualize this as a smiley face. Stay in a nice positive headspace here with all of our movement. Give me one more. Good. Again, if you need to switch up your position, just make sure that you're nice and comfortable in any seat that you're at and that you're in. I want you to take your fingertips and I want you to start here at the top of your forehead. And you're just gonna pitter patter the top of your forehead. And you're gonna work your way down towards your eyes, towards your eyebrows, over to your temples. And what you're doing here is just taking these fingertips, the pads of your fingers, and you're gonna massage or pat all over your face. You work your way down to your jawline, your chin. As you do this, you're continuing to focus on that diaphragmatic breath. That's the theme of all of our workouts, but especially this one. And then I want you to take the pads of your fingers and just take a little temple massage here. So you can take those circles up and back towards your ears. And then I want you to take your 2 pointer fingers and I want you to press them up into the upper corners of your eye. So you're on the bone there, right between your eye socket, bridge of your nose. You might feel a little bit of pressure here. Your sinuses are located in this area. And then I want you to take that press up, and I want you to follow the entire line of your eye socket. And if you have any kind of sinus pressure, there's going to be some tenderness in this. And I want you to just breathe into it. Take it down below the eyes as well. You can add some extra fingertips. And then I want you to press into the sides of the bridge of your nose and take a release. And then take those fingertips and I want you to go to your jaw and take some circles here. So our next focus is going to be on our feet and our pelvic floor. There is a direct connection between tension that we hold in our jaw and tension that we hold in our pelvic floor. So if you've had a particularly stressful day, week, month here, just take some time to relax your jaw, relax the muscles in your face, and then head into a nice pelvic floor release. Good. All right, so sitting up nice and tall, I want you to take a nice big diaphragmatic breath in, draw that air into the deepest part of your lungs, let your pelvic floor go. You're just taking inventory of what you feel in those pelvic floor muscles. 14 to 16 muscles in the pelvic floor, they line the bowl of the pelvis. And just like any other muscle in our body, they can hold tension in any one of those muscles. So I want you to just give yourself a little wiggle here, check in, see what you feel. This is your starting point for those pelvic floor muscles. And then in any position that this feels comfortable, I'm gonna take one leg out. I want you to find the bottom of your foot. And I want you to just take some massage or presses, circles, just kind of patting the bottom of your foot. As you do this, you can close your eyes. Just think of all the work that our feet do for us every single day. And just practice a little bit of gratitude for that. And then I want you to find your big toe and your second toe, and I want you to just imagine that you're separating those bones back and forth. And you're gonna take that with every toe. You're gonna feel how that line of the toe bone connects back into the rest of the foot. And then my favorite part of any kind of foot massage is to actually pull out on those toes. You might even get a little crack there. Good, and then we're gonna switch over to the other side. So taking the pads of your fingertips, patting the bottom of your foot, getting the ball of your foot, getting the center. Any places that feel a little tender, just spend a little extra time there. Loosening up that heel, and then find those 5 toe bones. Just imagining that you're pulling them apart, you're separating them back and forth. Going to each and every toe. And again, bringing to mind the work that your feet have done for you today, or if you're just waking up, that they're about to do for you today. Just practicing some gratitude, and then take those toes and give them a little pull out away from the rest of the toe socket. I don't know if you can hear mine cracking. And then I want you to bring the soles of your feet together, and we're gonna go deeper into that pelvic floor release. So feel that inner thigh stretch in this position. Sits bones are grounded down, you're nice and even. And then I want you to close your eyes, take a nice big breath in. And then we're gonna exhale and lean ourselves forward. And I want you to just release into that pelvic floor stretch. Imagine that those muscles are lengthening out away from one another. And take one more deep breath here. Inhale, fill ribs and belly. Exhale, let it go. Okay, come up to standing. I want you to hit a 90-90 position. So this front leg is parallel or horizontal in front of you. And then this other leg, you're gonna try to get it out to the side. Depending on your hip flexibility, you may or may not feel that release. And I want you to just rock in and out of this position. So you're trying to get that right sits bone down to the ground and up again. So we're just gonna breathe with our diaphragm in and out of this rocking motion. I want you to feel your spine nice and tall here. If you feel like you're really tight in this position, you need the support of some pillows. You can prop those pillows underneath you. One more breath, inhale, ribs and belly. We're trying to stay in that diaphragmatic breath the whole time. And then switch yourself over to the other side. The other benefit of using that diaphragmatic breath is that it takes us out of our sympathetic nervous system and into our parasympathetic nervous system. That parasympathetic nervous system is rest and recovery mode for all of us. So you can think of sympathetic as fight or flight mode. That's adrenaline, that's a cortisol rushing to our brains. And that's the place where these restorative systems shut down. So when we're using that diaphragm, that deep belly breath, massaging all those internal organs, we are just getting to that place where our body can rest, restore, grow. Really good place to be for pregnancy and healing in postpartum. One more time, good. I want you to come back to a seated position and just sitting back on your feet here. Close your eyes, palms down, take a nice big diaphragmatic breath in, release the pelvic floor. I want you to walk your hands out to all fours. From here, I want you to take a little push up in your shoulder blades. So if you've watched those scapular activation videos, I want you to find your scapula or the shoulder blades, and I want you to just visualize them pressing down and slightly together at the very bottom, not up here at the top where you're crunching into the mid and upper back. So really slow, deep, small movement here. And you're gonna coordinate this with your breath. Inhale, ribs and belly. Exhale, let go. Just a few more times. If this feels like too much pressure on your wrists, you can always come down here and just do a little bit of shoulder blade press and release from that forearm position as well. And then either from your forearms or up here on your hands, I want you to take that pencil that we used on the end of our nose and put it on the end of your tailbone. And then I want you to just draw a 1-inch line up and down with that pencil on your tailbone. This is a really tiny movement. So this isn't a big cat-cow. It's really isolated within the pelvis. You might feel a little bit of work or fire in those lower abdominals as you do this. That pelvic floor movement or that tuck tends to fire up our lower transverse muscles. And then I want you to take that pencil and I want you to just wag the tail 1 inch right and 1 inch left. So again, really small movement here. We're just trying to put some mobility into the pelvis. Create a little bit of space there. And I want you to take that circle around a quarter in one direction. If you can think about the scapula just staying down and engaged, just so we're not crunching into the shoulders and the neck here, it's a good place to be. And then reverse, go the other direction. Staying in tune with that deep belly breath. And again, this is completely normal if you feel a little bit of fire in those lower abdominals. You're working your core here without even realizing it. And then I want you to come down to a nice seat, either on your feet or in that cross-legged position. And I want you to just take a little bit of a flow up and over to the right and the left here. So we're just putting that lateral flexion into the spine. You're feeling a nice stretch down the sides of the body, breathing into the side of the rib cage as you take that arm overhead. And I want you to just imagine that breath flowing through the abdominal cavity. It's not actually going there, but you can use that as a nice visual. Just you breathe in, that air goes to all the way down to the bottom of the pelvis, out your fingertips, down to the tips of your toes. Coming up to a seat, I want you to just look over your right shoulder. Now you've got a nice tall spine here. You don't want to take that rotation from a crunched place. I want you to lengthen out the top of your head, look over your shoulder. And then you're going to take that right arm and you're just going to circle it up, around, and behind you. So you can keep your eyes closed here, or you can take a nice soft focus, find a focal point on that diagonal, trying not to let your mind wander here. And then reverse that arm, go the other way, back to front. One more. Good, come back to the center, up and over. Right to left. We're gonna take 2 more. Feel that stretch down the side of the body. And then I want you to elongate your spine, energy out the top of your head, and then just twist and look over your left shoulder behind you. Again, either close the eyes here or keep it a soft focal point. And then you're gonna take that arm up, around, and back. And you're just noticing here if you have any tightness on one side over the other. If you have a shoulder that's tighter, maybe you want to spend a few more circles or a little more time there. And then reverse that arm, go back to front. Trying to stick with that deep belly breath, ribs and belly. Good. We're gonna come back to that all fours position. Find your scapula, and then I want you to bring your forearms down to the ground. From here, you're gonna walk your knees back. So you're gonna find some abdominal fire here. This is your inhale. I want you to exhale and bring your pelvis forward. So again, you've got that pencil on the end of your tailbone and you're just drawing a maybe 6-inch line here, up and back. And as you come forward, this is the first and only time during this workout that I'm gonna have you fire up your pelvic floor. So I want you to take an inhale, release, exhale, find that pelvic floor activation or that Kegel. So you're stopping the flow of urine and you're stopping yourself from passing gas as you come forward into that pelvic tuck. Trying to keep an awareness in your scapula so you're not crunching into the upper neck and shoulders. You're feeling that fire in the lower belly. As you go into that tuck, you lift your pelvic floor. You're feeling hip bone to hip bone. Pull back towards your midline. Give me 3 more here. 3. Inhale, exhale. 2. And last one. Good. You're gonna come off of the arms, take those legs as wide as you need to. Come down into a child's pose, release your forehead down to the ground or the floor. If this is uncomfortable, you can also take this up on a 45-degree angle, just focusing on those ears, pressing away from your shoulders. Energy out the top of your head. Great position here to feel that release in the pelvic floor. So if you bring to mind the bones of the pelvis, you've got those two bony points, those sits bones that we sit on top of. I want you to visualize them moving away from one another in space. And then you can also imagine the bony points front and back, your pubic bone at the front, your tailbone at the back, also moving front and back away from one another in space. So you've got those four corners or that diamond shape, and it's just opening, lengthening, and widening here. Good. I want you to take about 2 more breaths. Nice big belly breath in. And then exhale, release. 1 more breath in. Diaphragm is on. That belly extends down towards the floor, down into your thighs. And then exhale, let go even more. Now, if you're pregnant, I want you to grab yourself a few pillows, and you're just gonna prop yourself up on a little bit of an incline here. So, 1 or 2 pillows, just so you're not flat on your back for this restorative pose. If you are not, you're welcome to take this all the way down to the ground, but our soles of our feet are gonna be together. So we're gonna come down into that side roll, bringing the soles of the feet together, bringing the hands to the belly, and just feeling those knees open out to the sides of the room, and pelvic floor relaxing. I want you to take a body scan here from head to toe. Make sure that you're not holding tension anywhere in your body. Go back to that visual of a diamond at the bottom of the pelvis, pubic bone at the front, tailbone at the back, sits bones side to side. And that diamond is just opening and lengthening here. And letting everything go. That belly rises on your inhale. It falls on your exhale. And I want you to feel the support of the floor or those pillows behind you. And I want you to imagine that you're not just falling into them, but they are lifting you up. You feel that support underneath you. You can just let the entire weight of your body fall down into that surface. Know that the floor is there holding you up, supporting your bones, your skin. And just find a release and a softness in this position. 1 more diaphragmatic breath. Inhale, ribs and belly. Exhale, let go. Then I want you to slide your hands down to the sides of your thighs, and you're gonna close those legs up one at a time, nice and easy. Find those feet underneath you. If you are up in an incline because you're pregnant, you can roll over and just move those pillows out of the way underneath you. Ground those feet down into the floor, press your palms down into the floor, and then I want you to just lift up and down into a few glute bridges here. So I really want you to focus on finding your glutes in this position. I don't want this glute bridge to be in your quads or firing up those thigh muscles. If you have to lift your toes slightly off the ground, you can lift your toes. You can also work with different positions of holding the feet in closer to you. See if that gets your glutes, take them out a little bit further. There is no one setup that works for anyone when it comes to any exercise. There's no perfect picture. What matters is what you're feeling and what you're trying to train in that moment. So right now we're trying to get those glutes to fire. I find it helpful to even put my hands on my glutes, and as I lift up to the sky with those hips, to just kind of feel that squeeze underneath my fingertips and release. Getting a little bit of fire here. It's good. A bit of blood flow into all those limbs, into those glute muscles. We're gonna take 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. You're gonna come down and you can just take a gentle windshield wiper right to left here with the knees side to side. And if you're pregnant at any point in time, if you start to get lightheaded, nauseous, you just don't feel good on your back, again, grab those pillows, pop yourself up onto that 45-degree incline. Just make sure that you're working from the place where you feel good at all times. And then I'm just gonna give you a little bit of a sacrum reset. You can either do this on your back or you can come up to a seated position in a chair. You're gonna take your fists, you're gonna squeeze them towards one another and lift your knees up. And I want you to squeeze your knees into the sides of your fists. You're gonna hold this for a diaphragmatic breath. Inhale, ribs and belly. Exhale, let go. And then I want you to take your hands, open up your palms, press them into the sides of your knees, and then press your knees out into your palms as you're trying to press your knees back together. Diaphragmatic breath here. That's 1. We're gonna do this 2 more times. Fists together. Squeeze your fists like you're trying to crush your knees together. Diaphragmatic breath. And then open up those palms, press out into your hands. Inhale, ribs and belly. Exhale, let go. That's 2. Number 3, last one. If there's any kind of misalignment in the hips or the sacrum, this exercise will help bring that sacrum and pelvis back into balance. Good. And then open up those palms, press into the sides of the knees. Inhale, ribs and belly. Exhale, let go. Good. And then I want you to just drop those knees down, roll yourself over to your side, and we're just gonna take our recovery here. You're gonna tuck your arm underneath your head like a pillow. Put a hand on your belly, take an inhale, ribs and belly, fill. Exhale, release. So if you're not comfortable lying on your side, you're welcome to come up into a child's pose. You come back up into a seated position to find this last few minutes of recovery. You're also welcome to come back into that back position, that full shavasana. Just circulating that air down into your limbs. Imagine that oxygen going into every cell in your body. And those cells traveling to the tips of your fingertips, the tips of your toes. I want you to push yourself up to a seated position. Cross those legs underneath you. Again, palms facing down, spine is nice and long. Find the groundedness of those sits bones underneath you. Shoulders floating down away from the ears. Check in with your pelvic floor. Make sure you haven't started holding tension back in those muscles. Check in with your jaw. Make sure it stays released. And then we're gonna take 2 last breaths together. I want you to take those hands out to the sides, lift up, gather all that energy over your head, and then drop your palms, float them back down, press that air down into the floor. And 1 more just like that. Inhale, up. Gathering that energy. This time I want you to hold it in the palms of your hands, bring it down to your forehead, bring it down to your heart, and bring it down to your belly. Feel that warmth. Connecting one last time with that nice, deep, diaphragmatic breath. You can open your eyes, bring yourself back into the space. Thank you so much for joining me for this restorative flow. I'll see you soon.